Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you've not missed too much. Welcome to the POLITY's Week in Review. And of course, today with me in the studio is nobody else but Fyeneface. Nsikak is not a new face. Welcome to the studio.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And welcome to a new dispensation.
Well, they call it renewed hope. We basically hope so. We're still hopeful.
But you don't sound elated, even though you look good and you look like you are part of the people that are chopping the money.
Of course, I shouldn't sound okay because Nigerians are suffering. My people are suffering, basically. Yeah. We're talking about the negative impact of taking off the fuel subsidy.
Okay.
Look, we are not against you taking off fuel subsidy, but if you're going to do that, you need to put certain things in place so Nigerians don't get to suffer. Look, Nigerians have had to endure difficulty, hard times all through the 8 years of the past administration. You know, go around and ask questions. You hear what Nigerians will have to tell you. It was from one problem to another problem. Fuel scarcity lasted for almost a year and 4 months. I mean, how do you explain this to a common man? And then we had issues of insecurity and all that. You know, so Nigerians have had to deal with a whole lot of things. So, and then the past administration handed over to the new one, and then
everything's skyrocketed. Let's speak it from the past administration. I'd like to take us back to not just the president. Now let's speak about the former governor of Ekiti State and the former chairman of Nigerian Governors Forum, Dr. Kayode Fayemi. Well, he came out to refute the claim that he's under probe by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission over an alleged 4 billion naira fraud. Well, Fayemi, in a statement on Friday by the head of Fayemi's media office, Abuja, Malam Ahmad Sajo, said during his visit to the AFCC, no such allegation was raised during this conversation with officials of the anti-graft agency. And now it begs my question. Although questions have been raised immediately after the president gave a speech that who was the first governor that EFCC would pick up. So he happens to be Governor Fayemi. But then we have to give it up to the fact that even Fayemi is under the APC camp. So we have to give it up for EFCC to say, yes, it looks like they're actually working.
Well, the EFCC is actually not working. This is not the first time we're seeing this. I'll take your mind back to Rocha Sokorocha. He was the governor of Imo State. And the moment he handed over, he was picked up by the EFCC. We saw a whole lot of melodrama that played out. I mean, people dropping from the ceiling of his house and all those things. And then where's the case today? It's been swept under the carpet. We've heard nothing about it. So I'm not impressed. I don't think EFCC, they are acting up to the expectations Nigerians have. Mercy, the major problem in our nation today is corruption. We talk about people stealing from the nation. And
funnily, that was not part of the president's speech at all. He didn't make mention of corruption because he was more concerned about the economy. Because
in 2015, they said they were coming to fight corruption. I remember how some of them came all out to attack the former administration. You heard utterances from some of them, and then the same people got in, and corruption became the only thing that is effectively working in Nigeria. Look at 8 years. You had people steal 109 billion naira. You had figures that, I mean, at the time, Nigerians got used to people stealing monies from the country. Of course, from snake swallowing money. So, I mean, there was a whole lot of issues of corruption for the past 8 years. So, I won't give it to the EFCC. For me, I feel they are not transparent enough.
But do you actually think they would have been transparent given that they are not an independent body by themselves?
Well, the EFCC is supposed to be independent, first of all, but it looks like they are not.
They are not,
So there's a whole lot of unanswered questions. Remember, an issue came up a few weeks back where the former governor of Zamfara State came out to accuse the chairman of the EFCC. So if you put all these things side by side, it looks more like we are joking in our nation. How do you explain to me that an agency whose major work is to fight financial crimes is now being, a governor is now talking against the chairman to say, look, I've got proofs against you. So, Mercy, I feel like the EFCC, they've not been transparent enough. If you're inviting Fayemi and you said 4 billion naira and all that, you should put it out there. Let Nigerians know exactly. So, yes, his spokesman is free to come out and,
debunk the
debunk and all that. But it's now the duty of the EFCC to come out and show Nigerians that, okay, the APC is in power, but we are inviting a former governor, a major stakeholder in the APC, we are inviting him for questioning because of XYZ. We need to know. Look, if you're probing someone, if you're fighting financial crimes, you don't do it. It shouldn't be an hidden affair.
Yes, it shouldn't.
Nigerians should know. And if you find them guilty, prosecute them. But then, like I said, the case of Rocha Okorocha, where is it today? I can mention more than 100 cases that we've had. You hear, okay, he was apprehended by the EFCC, and at the end of the day, you hear nothing. So it looks like the EFCC only functions basically when it has to do with the Yahoo boys. Okay, you see them. In fact, they even bring them. You see them post pictures of these guys. Why don't you post pictures of politicians that are stealing from innocent Nigerians? Mercy, show me one thing that is working in Nigeria today, from education to healthcare to insecurity to nothing is working.
I like the fact that you've mentioned that, because now I'm going to take us back to one of the APC Presidential Campaign Council president, that's Femi Fani-Kayode. He had issues with AFCC, of course, and he was bogus and he was everywhere then. So now, which begs the question, this said person was part of the APC Campaign Council, now the ruling party of the country. What do you think we should be expecting from that kind of person being under the party that is ruling us in Nigeria right now?
I think from the body language and the way the EFCC actually carry out their activities and all that, okay, it gives a kind of idea to these politicians. They feel that, look, I can go in there, take whatever I want and leave, and nothing will happen.
Nothing would happen.
And it shouldn't be that way. Look, if you've been appointed to serve, service is all about the people. I've said this before in one of my quotes. I said, look, leadership is all about the people. Any leader who gets in and decides to focus on his tribe, his religion, his family, and his associates has failed. And for the past 8 years, it was looking like it was about a party thing. Okay, Adams Oshomole even said, the moment you cross over to a party, your sins. So whether you stole 300 billion from Nigeria and you were in the PDP and then you cross to the APC, it's over. We don't want, look, we are youths. You say we are the next generation, we understand, but with the precedents you people are setting, it doesn't look good for our nation. Mercy, how do you explain to me one man was alleged to have stolen 109 billion naira? 109 billion, and we've not heard nothing. The EFCC only came out to say we've recovered 30 billion, and that's it. So we don't want that. Whether you are in the APC or you're in the PDP or you're in the Labour Party, and you take what belongs to Nigeria. So
it looks like there's preferential treatment for people in a particular party.
It shouldn't be so. Whether you are, no matter the party, as long as you steal from Nigerians, you should go down for it. Your family should pay for it. It should be, look, if you are serious about making progress as a nation, it should be that way. But then, Nigeria is where it is today because of corruption. Look at that petroleum sector. Nothing is working. Nothing is working. Do
you think the former President Buhari making himself the Minister of Petroleum was the beginning of this said problem?
I wouldn't say it was the beginning. We even felt it would now help that particular sector thrive properly, but we didn't see it happen. And I still believe that there's something hidden about the petroleum industry. That's why we keep on having issues.
The same issues.
Mercy, look at it. We're a major oil producing nation, but we can't stand side by side with other oil. Look at a country as small as Angola. Look at their turnover last year from selling oil. And then we are one of the major oil producing nations. Look at even the communities in the Niger Delta that actually have this oil. They don't have roads. People are suffering. Bad roads everywhere. There are no jobs there. But that is like you're getting the oil that is servicing the nation from there. And then we borrow to do everything in our country today. So what do you basically do with the funds we get from selling oil? So I feel there's something they are not telling us. There's a particular truth that they are not telling Nigerians about the petroleum sector. And I expected that from the moment His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu came on board, the first thing he should have done was to sack everyone from the NNPC. Get them out. Have someone come in and let's have a proper audit. Let's know what's going on there. Because we can't be moving from one problem to another problem, and everything is centered around oil. The oil is supposed to be a major blessing to Nigeria, but it's now looking like a curse. It's looking that way because it's not working. Nigerians have to suffer. Fuel is being sold at 544 naira as at today in Abuja. What for? You're taking off fuel subsidy. So why do you move fuel prices from 197 to 540? Can't you take it to 200 or take it to 300 at least? So the common man can at least find it, but you took it to 544. So what do you want? Now, from the House of Assembly to the House of Reps, to the Senate, to governors, to ministers, they don't pay for fuel.
They don't pay, yes.
They don't, and they don't even queue up.
So there's no ripple effect on them at the end
Nothing.
of the day.
They suffer nothing, but the poor masses. And then what baffles me is the same people celebrating, these same people are Nigerians that are suffering. You come online and you celebrate them, you worship them, you hail them, but you're suffering. You can't even pay your fare to work. In fact, you don't even have a job. How do you expect the common taxi man in Abuja, how do you expect him to survive through this? You buy fuel 544 naira per liter. So how much is he going to make? How is he going to feed his family? So this is totally unnecessary. I expect our leaders to think Nigeria. If you think about Nigeria, if you think about Nigerians, you won't just do things anyhow. You took off fuel subsidy without a plan. How about transportation? How do you expect school children to get to school? You can't provide a bus for them. Before you do such thing, you should say, look, we are releasing maybe 50,000 buses in the FCT. We are releasing maybe 10,000 buses in Lagos or 50. You know, let's have something that will make the people at least, so that will make them a little bit comfortable. And then they'll know that, okay, we should be able to endure this. And my major problem is also, Mercy, in 2012, Goodluck Jonathan brought this idea.
But then he gave us a shot.
The same people who fought Goodluck Jonathan
for
are now the same people. They occupied Lagos. They occupied Ojota. It was a shutdown. You saw musicians, actors, they all came out. What was it? He was trying to move fuel price from, I think, from 65 to 145. Picture if they allowed him to do that in 2012. By now, you know, Nigeria, I think we would have been on the path of progress. But they came out. They were vocal. I remember Mr. President now was, I mean, he was vocal. He even made statements. I think they referred to Goodluck Jonathan as Pharaoh, who was trying to, work it. Yes. But today, the same people are now taking off fuel subsidy. And when Goodluck Jonathan did that, he had certain things put in place. He set up a particular committee whose major duty was to ensure that Nigerians do not feel the negative effects of the fuel subsidy. But then they criticized him. People even went as far as insulting him, calling him names. People even called for his they said he should be impeached. But today, the APC took off the fuel subsidy without any plan for Nigerians, and then Nigerians are left to suffer. It's been the lifestyle of Nigerians to suffer. Sometimes I feel like I feel like Nigerians were created to be able to adapt to difficult situations and then just suffer and keep on going. But then how long are we going to remain this way? And then the second thing is, if you're taking off fuel subsidy, what happens to the monies you've been using to pay for fuel subsidy? And
I'd like to mention about Nigeria's debt burden between 1999 to 2023 too, because we cannot totally say we're talking about fuel subsidy removal. That's because Nigeria does not have money, and then we still keep borrowing. So the money we make from oil, or the money we generate from oil, where does this money go to? Because now for President Obasanjo, we are $2.1 billion US debt burden as of then. And then let's take it to Goodluck Jonathan. He had $7.3 billion US dollars. And now for President Buhari, I like the fact that you're smiling already. It's about 41.8 billion US dollars.
So you took it from Goodluck to 41.8 billion dollars. So you can see the past 8 years, I think we've not really produced anything. We've not produced nothing. In fact, they sell oil, but they tell you prices of oil has gone down.
Now that you've mentioned production, part of the speech where the president made on Monday, I'd just like to let's just go through it, since we're talking about the ripple effects of the speech. He said full range of domestic manufacturing would be laid emphasis on, then electricity will become more accessible. They said government will review all complaints about multiple taxation for both local and foreign investors. Do you think this is something that's actually feasible in the country we have right now?
I don't think so, Mercy. Okay. These were the kind of promises we had in 2015. He was part of the people who said, look, I'm going to make student loans free. 4 years will be 4 years. Where were we? Last year, ASU were on strike for 1 year, almost a year, and students were wasting at home. The same people. So I don't believe, look, I have a problem with manifestos and telling us what you're going to do. This is the problem.
Okay.
You pay someone to write manifesto for you.
But he wasn't reading from anywhere.
I know, but you do not have an idea of what is inside it. Someone just comes to brief you and then you just come out and you tell people. No, I don't believe in those things. I don't. They've proven to us that talk is cheap, our politicians, especially the past 8 years. We've seen it. They said they were going to build 5 refineries. We've not seen one. They said they were going to provide 5 million jobs. We've not seen even 500,000 jobs. So I don't believe in these things. If you're sincere about fixing Nigeria, you'll be able to begin to fix Nigeria from day one. And you can't say you're coming to fix Nigeria and the first move is by taking off. I don't have a problem with taking off fuel subsidy. But what's the plan? What plan do you have on ground? By now, we should have buses conveying workers, maybe civil servants, from work to Yanya, to Kubwa, to Lugbe and all that. But where are the buses? No free transportation. Students are just there. Nigerians can't even cope properly. He's talking about power. In the past 8 years, our power grid collapsed a record 99 times. We were just waiting for one to beat 100. Like my friend would say, I don't see 99. So, you know, so what that exactly one doesn't matter. Yeah, you know, so you're talking about power? How? Well, you were the national leader of the APC.
Yeah.
And you were in the forefront of those who said the PDP didn't do well. You criticized them. They were even went as far as mocking the then president. And then Nigerians said, okay, take over. And for 8 years, power collapsed 99 times. Mercy. How do you explain that? So I don't really want to. Yes, I know people would say that was President Muhammadu Buhari. This is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So, you should give it a new beginning. But I don't think a new beginning should start with a new chaos. Because now the issue of taking off fuel subsidy is having a negative effect of Nigeria. Look, if Nigerians cannot feel comfortable at the beginning of your government, it's worrisome.
What if this is the storm before the calm? I know they say there's always a calm before the storm, but let's
take it the other way. The Naira redesign issue was a storm. Was there a calm after? Nothing.
Nothing.
What was the major impact of the Naira? Nothing. You just put people through stress in the name of curbing vote buying. Elections came, we still saw abnormalities, people beating up people, threatening people, people writing figures. We saw people using tip X to cancel result sheet and write all manner. So what was the effect of the Naira redesign? Because politicians still had their way. Nigerians, their votes, some Nigerians still feel their votes did not count. So what exactly are you talking about? I just feel we need leaders that think about Nigeria and Nigerians. Look, when your major idea of wanting to be in an elective position is to come and serve the people, there are certain things you won't even think about. All you will focus on will be how to deliver the dividends of democracy. If you look through the 2023 elections, look at your state, for instance. Elections were peaceful, calm. There was no report of violence, nothing. In fact, when they were still counting the votes, the people were already celebrating in the streets of Ibadan because they wanted Seyi Makinde. They were excited. They were okay with what he's done for them. That's what we want to see all over Nigeria. We don't want to see you because you want to be in a position you think it's necessary, you intimidate people, you threaten people, you kill people. No. And that makes me feel that some of our leaders, some of our elected officials, governors, senators and all that, it feels more like it's all about personal interests. It's not about Nigeria.
Now, speaking of personal interest, we had a guest on the program yesterday and we were able to dissect the fuel prices for some parts in Nigeria, and he made reference to some parts of the northern Nigeria where the fuel has been sold for over 600 naira as of 2 months back. And now, what position does that put them now that the official rate is as of 537 for Abuja? Right now, I have the list here with me. Lagos 488. I think Lagos is the lowest on this list right now. But then at the end of the day, don't you think there should be a policy or a certain sector that would be created? Because it feels now that NNPC is not performing their civic duties to even Nigerians or not to even their office. Don't you think there should be a policy put in place for all these people now? Because if NNPC sells for 537, I bet another filling station would not sell at that price, because you can't compare a private filling station to something that is owned by the federal government.
Mercy, I'll take your mind back to during my analysis. I said something that there's something hidden about the petroleum industry.
Okay.
Why I'm saying this is, who is in charge of regulating fuel price? Who is regulating pump price? How come you go to some states, like you said 2 weeks ago, fuel was being sold for 500 and something, and then we have an executive governor in that state, and then he did nothing about it. I saw videos yesterday of the new governor of Cross River State, Senator Prince Basio too, he went around all the filling stations in Cross River, warning them that, look, whatever they are taking of fuel subsidy will take effect from the ending of June. Sell fuel at the normal price you were selling before. If you do not sell, we will come and seal this place. That's what every governor should do. If you care about your people, move around and talk to the people and say, look, if you do not sell at so price, we will shut you down. Because now, how come, people are just sitting down somewhere to determine how much they sell fuel at different filling stations? It shouldn't be. We should have a regulatory body who would sit down and say, okay, nationwide, fuel should be sold at. We saw Mercy from 1999 till 2015. We saw these things play out. I don't think there was a time you would go to Benue State and fuel was being sold for 45 naira per liter, and then you go to Cross River and fuel was being sold for maybe 60. No, there was uniformity. Uniformity, yes. But now, I think from 2020, we started saying this. Once there's fuel scarcity, you go to this filling station, they are selling at a different price. You go here, they have no. There should be a body whose major duty is to regulate fuel prices. But it's as if nobody's basically in charge at the NNPC. And it's worrisome. Like I said, look, oil is supposed to be a blessing to Nigeria. Look, countries have been developed through the sale of oil. Look at the Dubai, for instance. Look at Qatar, for instance. It's oil money. And look at the transformation. I mean, there's a story I even heard at a particular time that at the time Dubai came to borrow money from Nigeria. From Nigeria, yeah. But can you put us side by side? Nigeria, we've been stagnant, zero progress, but we are selling oil. We are a major oil producing nation. So I think it's time to wake up. Governors, they've got to wake up and take responsibility. Move around these feelings. Look, you're not there to be the boss. You're there to serve the people. And if the people you're coming to save are actually suffering, then for me, you failed. You have failed. If you were appointed as governor to serve the people, to protect them, to provide for them, to secure jobs for them, and then the people are suffering, you failed. So I expect other governors to emulate the governor of Cross River State. Move around this feeling. I think the governor of Kano State also gave he sent a warning to filling stations as well yesterday or today, telling them also, look, sell the normal price. Yes, or else we will come after you. So we want to see more of this. Nigerians do not deserve to suffer. You can't finish 8 years of stress, of frustration, of lack of basic amenities, Mercy, and then you're jumping into renewed hope, and then your hope is lost. Because that's what it's looking like now. People can't go to work. People are trekking all over the nation. It shouldn't be. Transportation fares has gone up. I saw reports yesterday for you to travel from Lagos to Abuja now. I think it will cost about 21,000. 21,000 naira. Yes. It doesn't work. So how do you expect that? So and before you know now, like someone said today, the aviation guys may just say, okay, we are also increasing our own price as well. So I think a whole lot needs to be done. Our leaders need to wake up and then think about the people. Okay, all right. There's a breaking story from the State House press release. As of this moment, the President Tinubu appoints Femi Gbajabiamila, Senator Ibrahim Adejia, DCOS, George Akume, SGF. Well, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu today in Abuja announced the appointment of Speaker of House of Representatives, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, as Chief of Staff, and Senator Ibrahim Hassan Adejia, former Deputy Governor of Jigawa State, as Deputy Chief of Staff. Well, in a meeting with Progressives Governors Forum, the President also named former Governor of Benue State and immediate past Minister of Special Duties George Akume Secretary to the Government of the Federation, and it's been signed by the Director of Information Abiodun Oladunjoye. What is your take on this recent development? I wouldn't say I'm really surprised, Mercy, but the major problem I have with this is the fact that the people we have around the president are still the same set of people that have been in the corridors of power for almost 16 years. Look at George Akume, two-time governor of Benue State. I think he became senator. Yes. And in the last dispensation, he was a minister. But you would ask, what happened in the last dispensation? Yes, what was he? What change did he bring? How effective was he as governor? as minister, as senator, how well was he able to bring real change to the people? Democracy is government of the people, for the people, and by the people. It means that if you've not been able to touch the people, it means you've basically not done
nothing. Can we say, can we possibly say we saw the writing on the wall from, I'll take us back to when President Tinubu was at Chatham House, where he was delegating questions to certain people. If you remember vividly, the first person he made mention was Femi would answer this also question. So could it be said that the writing was on the wall right from there? And then this is not even based on their past antecedents, because taking a look back at the drama that happened with Femi Gbatabiamila a few weeks back with the House of Rep members about, there was of course a scandal I would not like to mention on hand right now. Do you think this is actually a good improvement right now?
Like I said something, Mercy, if you, you know, I'll take your mind back. I said in Nigeria, some people just feel like they would be in a position, do things anyhow, and they'll get rewarded at the end of the day. It's been a trend. So I'm not surprised to see this. In the coming days, you see more cases. You see people who have cases with the EFCC, the ICPC, being appointed. Why? It's Nigeria. You know, a party comes into power and they just think, okay. But my major concern is it's the same people, the same set of people.
We keep recycling the same people.
And then we expect change. We expect to make progress. Look, the thing is this. The people already have a particular mindset. So you bringing them in is like putting old wine, new wine in old bottle. It will just give you the same. You can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. So recycling these people, that was my worry from the beginning when the candidacy of His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu came up. And I said, okay, but we have the same people running around him. Festus Keyamo, mention them. The same set of people. They've been in the corridors of power for 16 years, some 8 years, some 20. And you've not seen nothing.
Nothing.
They have question marks. Some even have pending issues at the EFCC. So I just feel having this kind of people in the system, there's no way we would basically make progress. Look, we have Nigerians in the diaspora that are sound, intelligent, they understand politics, they understand governance. Why not bring them back? Why not try some of them and
some
say,
new
okay,
faces?
Of course. But when you keep on recycling the same people, some of us will just lose interest and feel like it will be the same story. Remember the stories of the past 8 years. It may just get to be the same thing.
The same thing.
I do not expect it. Because you can't keep on doing the same thing, using the same people, and expect a different result.
Now let's take it away from that and take it to the court verdicts of Obi and of course Atiku over the week, where Obi presented few exhibits in court and he was unable to get the form EFCA for some states. Do you think now that our President Tinubu has been named the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, do you think this is going to in any way affect the judgment or the verdict of the court?
Well, that's been the mindset of Nigerians. That's why some Nigerians were agitating that he shouldn't be sworn in first until we are done with the court, because they felt that once he gets in, it will become a totally different ballgame. But I think for now, this is an opportunity for the judiciary to be able to write their names in the sands of time and show Nigerians how independent they are, because they are supposed to be independent. So, yeah, whatever.
Now, let's take it back to they are supposed to be independent. Let's start with the Independent National Electoral Commission, then take it to EFCC, and now the judiciary. Do you actually think we have independent bodies in Nigeria?
I wouldn't think so, because if you look at the past 8 years, they've given Nigerians a cause to feel that. Look at the judiciary, for instance. Ahmed Lawan, Senate President, wasn't part of the primaries, the senatorial primaries. He was part of the presidential primaries, but somehow he got elected as senator. So Nigerians are still asking that question. Godswill Akpabio as well wasn't part of the process in Akwa Ibom, but today he's vying to become the next Senate president. So if you were in the shoes of Nigerians, what would you say about that? That's a question mark. I spoke about the EFCC. A lot of issues, a lot of corruption issues hanging, and then they'll just tell you, okay, we've been able to invite this so and so person for questioning. He came to our office, and then we drilled him, and at the end of the day, you hear nothing about it. So it's looking more like they are basically not independent. And then if you look at all the court cases and things that have played out recently, Nigerians do not really have hope in some of these agencies. But then, like I said, this is an opportunity for the judiciary to say, okay, look, Nigerians, we are transparent. We are not on the side of anybody, you know. But if you look at INEC, for instance, PDP tried to tender some evidences the other day at court, and the APC were against, you know, they objected that. And the INEC also tilted to that same angle to say, you know, they objected as well. And I think it's totally, you know, wrong for INEC to tilt towards a particular direction. You should be independent. You should be unbiased. You shouldn't go in any direction. You should be neutral. If PDP says they are coming to tender some evidences, allow them. That's why you have a legal team. Your legal team should be able to wake up and defend whatever is being submitted by PDP. But the moment you see INEC tilting to a particular situation, Nigerians would now feel that they are not independent.
Now, speaking about Nigerians do not have hope, do you have any expectations for this said administration? Let's talk about the positive right now.
I do not have any expectation. Okay. Ask me why.
Why?
This administration, they didn't fall from heaven. They didn't import them from America. They are part of the APC. So they ruled for 8 years. And they are still appointing the same. That's what I said.
It's just a continuation.
Of course. So I just feel like you made promises in 2015 and we saw nothing. So you're coming back. I don't expect anything. So that whether you do it or you do not do it, I won't say, okay, you said this. So for me, I expect nothing because they didn't keep to the promise of change.
But Mr. Nsikak, I would like to say never. You never can tell.
Yeah, but in Nigeria, you should try to tell because they spoke about change in 2015. We didn't see change. They spoke about next levels in 2019. Where as at May 29th, look at 2019 till 2023. Was there any next levels? In terms of, students were at home for a year. Health care is in shambles. Doctors are leaving every day. The Japa thing is on the rise.
Syndrome is on the rise.
You understand? So Nigerians are leaving the nation because there are no jobs. You graduate from school. A few days back, we had NYC members that passed out. They finished their service year. They're expecting nothing because basically, if you do not know someone who knows someone that knows someone that is up there, you will just sit down jobless. So where did the next levels take us to? In terms of insecurity, there was a record that 63,000 Nigerians were killed between 2015 till 2020.
And those are the data we got. We're not even talking about the ones that were not recorded.
So I do not expect nothing. I'm speaking for myself now as a Nigerian. I do not expect anything because you didn't keep to. It's still the APC. It's still the APC. So I would say, okay, yeah, we would believe that Nigeria is going to work. But I've been hearing these things when I was a child. I'm grown now, and it's still the same story and still the same issues. Lack of power. How come we don't have steady power supply today in Nigeria? Education also would go on strike because they are demanding for conducive environment and all that power. So for me, I think it's just, we are just going round
in circles. Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Mr. Nsikak. I really wish we had more time on the program to, of course, elaborate on most of the issues on the polity. And we do hope to see you one more time again, of course, to analyze better. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right, our viewers at home, I would like to say, never say never. You never can tell whether this administration would favor you and I. Of course, I still remain Mercy Babajide. And this is where we bring to the end of polity for this week. Thank you to our backstage guys and, of course, to our prompters and promptees. Thank you very much for allowing the program to air, and a very big thank you to our head of programs too. This is where we bring to the end of the polity for this week. Stay tuned for more updates on KAFTAN TV. See you same time, same station next week. Bye.